against Furman this past week. As a reminder for your audiences, tickets remain available for this weekend, which is family weekend here at Clemson. Those are available at 1-800-CLEMSON and ClemsonTigers.com. Everybody got a taste of our new atmosphere and updates to Memorial Stadium last week, and got a lot of exciting new game day presentation elements that are really going to shine in prime time, so we look forward to seeing everybody there. As always, we'll go to Coach for opening comments, for opening to questions in the room, and then closing with questions from Zoom. So, Coach, whenever you're ready, take it away.
All right, thank you, Ross. Well, we're excited about our start and being 2-0. Can't be better than 2-0, so excited about that. Got a lot of improving to do as a team. Done some good things as a team, done some good things individually, done some bad things as a team and bad things individually. So a little bit of everything first two games, but name of the game is winning, and we've been able to get that done. So, excited about another game here at home, a night game. That's going to be a lot of fun. This is a good team. This will be a big challenge for us this week. This is a team that's got some dudes. All right, they got 17 starters back, across the board. Mixture of offense, defense, and in the kicking game. And they got 24 transfers, so got a bunch of guys, bunch of new people. Obviously, a new coach, Coach Cumby, coming in, and with the scheme that they run with the air raid and a lot of different variations of that, and then the defensive coordinator, he brought some players with him. From Stephen F. Austin, so they got some good experience across the board. Offensively, their offense very experienced up front. I think we got guys that have played a lot of football. I mean, even the one kid that transferred in from Memphis, he's played a lot of football. So it's an experienced, tough group. Got two quarterbacks who've played in both these games. So started one guy against Missouri, ended up going to 17. He came in and then led them against Stephen F. Austin last week in a big win. And really, the Missouri game was a really good game. They just had some really critical turnovers, pick six, and kind of got away. But it was a very competitive game. If you take those turnovers away, I think defensively, I thought La Tech really held up well. Just again, score kind of got away with the turnovers there, but I think again they got some guys, man, two good backs that are really good runners and an excellent skill. And again, this is an air raid offense, so they're going to throw it all over the place. They got two guys that are they're not very big, but they are quick and twitchy and can fly. So 85 as a freshman, he went for a couple touchdowns against Missouri, got behind the defense a couple times. Then the Smoke Harris, number 6, he's like 5'6", and he's a dang water bug. He can go, man. Also a great returner. So just a good group across the board with a lot of experience and a good scheme to go with it. Defensively, same thing. They've got some all-conference guys returning, starting with one of their safeties there, BJ. I mean, he's an excellent player at number 4. Two corners came in from with the D coordinator, and they're long, they're tough, they're competitive, they challenge you, they play a lot of man coverage, so this will be a good challenge for our guys. I love their middle linebacker. I think he is a really good football player. He's an all-conference type player for them as well. He's played a ton of ball, but he's one of those guys that you want on your team, man. Just finds the ball, makes plays, and then they don't have a lot of depth up front, but they're a 4-man front, and they've got about 6 guys that can flat out get after you. So it's a good group. It's a good group, and active, twitchy, and again a lot of man-to-man. They play on the balls of their feet. They ain't on their heels. They challenge you. So it'll be really a good challenge for us. In a tough battle, and we got to play better. We'll have to play better to find a way to win this game. That's for sure. But we're excited about it. Again, night game. It's going to be fun with having the experience of kind of the new setting, if you will, and we need a great crowd. We need a great crowd. We need to make sure that we don't take for granted how hard it is to win. All right, it's hard to win, and we need a great crowd that shows up ready. and doesn't lose sight of that. I know we've won a bunch of games at home, a bunch of games, and we beat a lot of people. But man, our environment is one of the main reasons. So man, let's show up and let's have a unbelievable environment and get behind these guys. And we're gonna get our guys on this end to show up and be ready to go as well. So look forward to that. Also had the opportunity to go to Doc Hoover's funeral yesterday, and it was a beautiful service. Just thought that his son did a great job of just eulogizing him and remembering him. He truly is a legend, and just a great man that I'm thankful I had the opportunity to know, and just the impact that he had on Clemson and his love for Clemson. And then I hope everyone will continue to keep the Brzee family in your thoughts and prayers as they are in a really tough place right now. And so just continue to lift them up and remember them. And with that, I'll take your questions.
I know that it's always, you play Clemson and all of that, but is it easier to keep guys' attention when you see Texas A&M get beat? You talk about how hard it is to win. Texas A&M gets beat at home. And
Absolutely.
Notre Dame gets beat at home by Marshall. There's upsets everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. You're dealing with young people. I mean, these are 17 to 22-year-olds, right? And, they get told how great they are. And, that's what I hate about the recruiting process and all the rankings and all that mess. You got to play the game. This game's never been played on paper. We wouldn't be who we are right now if it was all about that, right? So it's you got to play and you got to show up and you got to compete. You got to play with Yeah, to answer your question, it helps when the wise learn from others. So you look across the country and you see, and then also as fans, you get reminded, like you can't take anybody for granted. I mean, and you look at the turnover margin, for example. I think Marshall was +3. That's a recipe for getting beat. App State was +3 in the margin. Next thing you know, tight game, you lose. So I mean, talent only gets you so far. It's talent is just a part of the equation.
Will Brian play this week?
Not sure right now. If he'll play if he wants to play, but he's got more important things that he needs to focus on right now than football. A lot more important things than the game of football for that young man right now.
Tyler and XT, what their stats?
They're close. They're doing good. XT's really close. We're just kind of taking it day by day. He's right there. Probably be game time decision on him. Probably the same thing with Tyler. He's doing great. If he's not quite 100%, I'm going to hold him. But he's close. He's doing good.
What was your reaction to Sergio entering the portal?
I mean, there's really not much of a reaction. 2022. Great kid. Love him. Wish him well.
What are some of the areas you'll be looking for in practice this week as far as the defense goes and seeing some
Well,
things
we
get
just
better
got to
there?
show up ready to play. I just disappointed in our effort. I didn't think we played relentless. Too many easy. And listen, everybody makes a lot about completion. I mean, there's a lot of completions at the line of scrimmage. There's a lot of screens. There's a lot of people aren't stupid. They're not going to sit there and hold the ball. And we haven't given up a lot of big plays. Name the game's points. If we average in 11. We give up 11 points a game, we're going to win the whole dang thing. So we're doing a good job in a lot of areas, but I didn't like the juice they played with. And again, there's a short week, crazy week, very base, playing with some unknowns, and then you got to give Furman some credit. Those kids played harder than we did, played tougher than we did. And executed their plan better than we did. So just got to get off field on third down. We were 2 of 16 on Monday Night Football, right? And a few days later, we can't get off field on third down. So guys weren't ready to play, period. And so you got to show up, and that's the number one thing, and that's on me. to make sure that happens. But just disappointed in our effort. Disappointed in we didn't have a player of the game. Disappointed in how we competed. So that's where it starts. Do your job with relentless effort. Period. You do that, good stuff will happen. And then offensively, just finish. I mean, we're really close on offense. I mean, I'm encouraged. We went 9 out of 11 drive scores, and I loved how we started. We didn't compliment each other. I mean, that's 2 weeks in a row. And again, good teams can compensate. Great teams play complementary football, and we're not a great team yet. Not anywhere close to it, but we're working. I don't know if there's many great teams out there right now, but we that's good that we can pick each other up. Georgia Tech defense set the tone, offense was slow, and then all of a sudden, bam, here we go. And we put some complementary football together in that second half, and it was beautiful. And then all of a sudden you come in now offense, we're right out of the gate, score, and defense can't get off the field. So we got to put it all together for 4 quarters. But offensively, man, I'm very encouraged. 24 drives, we scored on 12 of them, and then as I evaluate, okay, are we putting them in position to be successful? We had 9 other drives that if we just don't lose to Clemson, we're going to walk away with some points, either a kick or a touchdown, and these are very, very basic things. It's ball security, it's penalties, it's basic execution. So the encouraging thing is we're attacking, we're putting them in position to be successful, and confidence at quarterback. I mean, DJ's really playing with a lot of poise. I thought he took another step. All the backs. I mean, we got to get better in the passing game. I think we've been able to do that. You're not going to – I know we're going to be able to run the ball, and we've been efficient. We got to get better. But I think every back was over 5 yards a carry, and Shipley was about 7 yards a carry, and we got to be more efficient there, continue to do better. But you can't win at the highest level if you can't throw the ball. You just can't. You got to have a great passing game. And, I know what that looks like the higher you get up that mountain. And you will not win in college football if you can't make plays in the passing game. And you just can't. And so, I am pleased with the progress we've made. We're still developing at receiver. And you look at our group, I mean, I'm encouraged. There's some plays that we need to finish on that have been there that all of a sudden it's, now you're 40-something points a game and you're 450 yards. I mean, it's a different deal. But we're doing some good things. We really are. Really good on third down. 2 things we need to improve. 3 things. We're going to take care of the ball better, third down, and our passing game. And we're doing a great job on third down in 2 games. We're doing a really solid job in the passing game. We made good improvements there. Disappointed in the 2 turnovers that we've had offensively. Neither one should have happened, and both cost us opportunities for points. So those are things we got to keep working at. And again, you're playing your way through, real live games now, and we're learning about our team, and so you need to take another step this week for sure. Doing some good things in the kicking game. Obviously, we had a big miscue there on. I told Will this ain't baseball, right? Like we don't get to dive for the punt return catch and get an out or get points, right? Like we don't. If we can't get under it, we don't make that play. It's our ball, right? If nobody touches it, it's our ball. Love his effort, but just a bad decision right there, and he'll learn from that. But we're doing some good stuff. But no, we're a work in progress for sure. And this will be a really tough challenge for us Saturday night that I'm looking forward to, seeing how they respond.
The receivers, how do you? This is maybe a 3-part question. How do you bring some of those older guys through the real non-ball?
Yeah.
And then do you expect Antonio to play more of a role?
We don't really have older guys. I was talking about that last night. Like, everybody thinks we got all these older, experienced receivers. Who are they? We have one guy in Gata, and how much football has he played? He played as a freshman, and in 20, he didn't play. And then last year, how many games did he play in? And then he was out again. So it's not like he's T. Higgins on his 3rd year here. and he's had all this experience. He's the older guy, but he doesn't have a lot of experience. I mean, so he's working his way, and he's done good. I mean, he made some nice plays. We should have had him on. We got the PI, and that was one of the throws DJ'd like to have back. We got the PI, but he kind of he didn't think we had the end picked up, but we did, and he kind of rushed the throw. But Spector, I mean, how much football's he played? I mean, he redshirted. His redshirt freshman year, he's out, and then last year he couldn't even walk up the steps. So, I mean, like, he's played 2 games since the first few games as a redshirt freshman, and he's just learning. Bo Collins is a true sophomore. He played last year as a freshman, ended up having to start for us. He's a great player in the making, but he doesn't have a lot of experience. Dakari Collins really shouldn't have played last year. But he had to play. And not only did he have to play, he ended up having to start some games for us. And he wasn't ready for that, but that's where we were. He's a true sophomore. He's not some old, experienced guy. Antonio's a true freshman. So they're really kind of all right there in that same group. Adam is a true freshman who we're getting back this week, and excited about that. So, I mean, we don't have any old guys we don't have these old, proven, established receivers at this point. Hopefully next year we will have that as we go through the course of the season. So we're just I think we're really talented, and we're just really young and inexperienced. And every single week we're building on it. But I do love what I'm seeing out of Bo. It's great to see Ngata making a few plays. It's great to see Antonio be what we think he is. Spector making some plays. I mean, they're all doing some things. Dakari's gotten a couple PIs. He hadn't had much plays, but he's put some pressure on some people down the field a couple times. EJ is same thing. He had a good freshman year. And how much did he play last year? Out, surgery, and so he's and had a couple setbacks in camp, and I think his confidence isn't what it needs to be. He's an unbelievably talented guy, but kind of battling himself right now. So I love our guys, and I love our group. It's a really deep group, and you're going to all look up in about 4 years from now, and you're going to 5 years, and you're going to go, oh, okay, all them guys were at Clemson at one time. You will, but right now we're just it's just where we are developmentally. So they're doing some good stuff, but we don't have any older guys that have all this proven experience. We're trying to prove it, and that's just where we are. We're in the proving ground right now. So, but I love our guys, man, and I think we're doing some good stuff and a lot we can keep building on.
You talked about Georgia Tech about being better at passing the ball, but also defending the pass. So, I mean, what have you seen in the first 2 weeks from the secondary?
Well, first week I thought we did a good job in a lot of areas, but I thought we were terrible Saturday. Now again, you're completing screens and you're throwing some slants. I thought we did a poor job on the slants, poor job playing leverage, poor job competing at the point of attack on some man coverage stuff. We turned a couple guys. Look, 2 of those screens you got man coverage and our guys blitzing instead of covering his man. So we gotta be more disciplined with doing our job assignment wise. But one game good, one game bad. So we got to get some consistency in that. Not giving up big plays. That's a positive. Name of the game is points, right? So we've been great in the red zone. We've been great on 4th down. 2 of 16 on 3rd down Monday night was outstanding. 10 of 18 the other night was poor, and that was a reflection of what was going on 1st and 2nd down. And just didn't do a good enough job of playing our technique and being disciplined. I think about everybody we had got beat inside, just lost leverage. So a lot we can improve on from there.
Is it just an inexperience?
Yeah, just playing. I don't know anybody out there that's perfect. The NFL guys aren't perfect. I mean, everybody's just early in the season, and you're just not sometimes playing with. And again, we didn't show up defensively Saturday. I mean, they all stayed at the Hilton Garden Inn, so that's immaturity. immaturity, lack of focus. They better be ready this week. These old boys can spin it, and they got some dudes that can run. They better be ready. That's for sure, because that ball's going to be in the air. We're going to find out Saturday.
You mentioned all the new guys from Louisiana Tech. Is there a point in the season where you say, okay, they've played enough games, we're comfortable with who they are? Is 2 games enough to say,
No.
okay, we got a comfort level here?
No, I mean, again, you learn a lot from that Missouri tape. The Stephen F. Austin kind of got away, pretty quick, and I thought they, continue to do what they do, but they, probably they got a lot we haven't seen. But yeah, that's as you get going in the season, you have much better comfort zone of, okay, this is who they are. You have more feel for their personnel the more you see them play other people, and so yeah, I'm glad we got 2 games. That's for sure. Again, you got a lot of new people all over the place. It definitely helps when you can study, new coaches, and now they've had a couple games to call the game, et cetera. You get a feel for just their base stuff.
Have you ever not done players of the game?
Oh yeah. We've had times, but it's not often. But there wasn't no player of the game Saturday. That's for sure. Not defensively. DJ and Shipley were our players of the game offensively. Did a great job, and we had special team, and we I think they put all that stuff out. I don't know. But we didn't have anybody on defense.
Obviously, you've seen Wes work behind the scenes with Brent for years. Having a down defensive performance, what have you seen through the years that gives you confidence that he'll be able to adjust now?
Wes is like this, man. He don't get too high, he don't get too low. Go pitch a shutout, have 5 sacks and 3 picks. He'll be the exact same on Monday. That's one of the things I love about Wes. You have a bad night like we had, and I say bad night, we gave up 12 points. We've created 4 turnovers in 2 games. That's the other thing. And really should have at least 6. We dropped a pick 6. We missed time to jump on a tip ball at Georgia Tech that Trotter probably could have had. And then we had 2 balls on the ground. One was a strip sack that we didn't come up with. So, I mean, we've done a good job in that area. But he's a savvy guy and a veteran guy. He's seen it all. He's been in about every situation you can be in. I ain't worried about Wes.
Any other questions from the room?
Looking at a story about Jordan McFadden, you're talking about Brady Jarrett and Nolan Turner and some of those guys who are here because they're good people as much as athletes. I mean, how much does Jordan's recruitment fit into that string of different athletes in terms of him as a person? Was it eventually what convinced you guys to take him?
I mean, it's really that way with everybody. I mean, I think we really try to recruit people first. And, he's a very talented player at Norman. We liked him. Just needed to really kind of see him. He was developing. He was a little bit like Brandon Thomas in that regard, kind of a developing guy. And man, what a player. I mean, great player. We're going to be joining. We got 4 or 5 offensive linemen in the NFL right now, and he'll be there soon. He's on his way. He's a really smart kid and super high character. Great mom and just about all the right things. But he's a student of the game. He really understands the game. I think. And he snaps on the side. He does some of that. I think he'll be a guy that can play all 5 positions at the next level. He's long enough to play tackle, and he's just super strong. And again, just really smart player, physical, got a bright future ahead of him. He'll play for a while. But who he is as a person just accentuates the talent that he has. It really does, because his work ethic, his character, as I said earlier, it's not you can't just have talent. I mean, it's commitment, it's discipline, it is doing what's right when nobody's watching. It's your training habits, it's your commitment to your nutrition, it's all those things. And your football aptitude, your love of preparation, and he exemplifies all those things.
What's it say to you, excuse me, in this transfer era that I think Sergio's the only guy who left since the end of last year?
Yeah. We had 109 guys go through spring. They all stayed, and it's just kind of where we are in college football. Especially they put the 4-game rule in to be a positive. To be able to play kids, and then it's kind of turned around into you'll see other guys leave either here or elsewhere between now and these first 4 games. That's just kind of the nature of college football these days. So.
Okay, Coach, I just wanted to ask, when we spoke to Coach Goodwin after the game, he said that those guys, when they look at the film, they'll know what they've done wrong, like they already know kind of what they need to adjust. I guess how, with so many young guys on the team like you were talking about, how do they kind of take that criticism and feedback?
Oh, good. Yesterday's Mental Monday. Get your mind right. So, we celebrate the win. We enjoy the win. It's hard to win. It's always better to correct when you're coming off a win, that's for sure. But Mondays are Mental Monday. We got to get better, And so here's how we got to do it, and everybody take ownership of that and keep going. So we've got a lot of experience on the defensive side, especially up front. Now we played a bunch of people too. I mean, we played we played a lot of people on defense. Saturday and purposefully, we got guys in there early and, just trying to, again, just grow our team, learn about our team, develop our team, be able to have some stuff where we could challenge. So they responded well. They know. I mean, Miles Murphy knows when he's loafing. And if he don't, he finds out when he comes to the meeting on Monday. And then you either respond or you don't. If you got any freaking pride to you, you'll respond. If you don't, you'll end up on the sideline. Don't matter who you are, just the way it is. That's just, we ain't gonna change the standard. And that's not just Miles. I mean, it's the whole group. So yeah, they respond.
You and Sonny.
As long as you're honest and transparent, you don't have any problems.
You and Coach Cumbie know each other from the past at all? Is there any crossover or anything?
No, I know of him and have certainly followed him over the years. He's been a great coordinator a lot of different places, and he was a good player. And he's in that whole air raid world. He's been very successful, and so never really, I don't think, crossed paths with him, but he's where he is because of his career path and the success that he's had, for sure, offensively.
I told DJ yesterday that listening to some of his post-game interviews, man, he's breaking down defenses, what he's seeing, and he seems to have great recall.
Yeah, he does.
Do you think that is a part of his game that maybe nobody knows about, just maybe what a student of the game he is? And he was like, I can remember plays all the way back to Pop Warner.
Yep.
Breaking down defenses.
No, DJ's been that way since he's a great preparer. He loves it. I tell the story of his freshman year, when Danny Poole called me to tell me Trevor's got COVID at like 11 in the morning, and I'm going, it was the BC game on, what day was it? Was it Thursday? And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, and Trevor had been off at his girlfriend at the time, and anyway, he got COVID, and so I'm going, oh my God! And so I walk into the offensive staff room to tell the coaches at 11 o'clock on Thursday that Trevor's out, and then I said, well, let me call DJ, and one of the GAs said, well, Coach, he's in the quarterback room right now watching tape. True freshman, not a starter. He's the backup. True. And I'm like, really? So I walk and I kind of peek in the quarterback room, and actually he was in the tight end room. He wasn't even in the quarterback room. He was sitting because the quarterback room was a COVID room. that's where Stuckey and JP had their, little. Everybody was, spread out all over. Well, so he was actually in the tight end meeting room, but I look in there, and there he is. He's sitting there. He got his headphone on. He's watching tape by himself. And I opened the door, and he's like, "Hey, what's up, Coach?" And I said, "Well, you ready?" And he's like, "What's going on?" So that's who he is. He's been that way since the day he got here. From January, that's one of the things that I've said all the way back, that he's different than Trevor and Deshaun, but what made Trevor and Deshaun and Cade, it's the same way. Their aptitude for the game, their ability to learn and process things and take it from the meeting room to the game day, is not everybody can do that. And they just can't. But he's been that way since he got here. Very smart, very conscientious, and the game has slowed down for him as far as just his where he is, just mentally, and part of that's just what he went through last year. I love his poise. 2 games don't make a season, but he's making some strides, and it's been encouraging to see where he is. So great leadership, great understanding of what we're doing. Knows when he makes a mistake. Absolutely knows when he makes a mistake, and just I appreciate that about him. And just outstanding leader, and great understanding of what we're trying to do. So hopefully he'll continue to have the success that we need him to have, and that he deserves.
Based on what you just said moments ago about guys, we'll see if they were loafing on the film, was Monday about as much of a day that you can remember in a while of having to point out some effort things?
Yeah, Mondays are, so we start off with a hit tape, we want to be proud of ourselves on effort and being physical, and then I go through loafs, and I'll go through the tape, and sometimes the coach may not think it's a loaf, but if I think it's a loaf, it's a loaf. And so we ain't gonna win without relentless effort. Good things happen. And the reason we've won so many games is because of that. I think about Kayvon Wallace getting to the goal line and punching that ball out at Texas A&M. That's just effort. Effort don't ever go in a slump, right? You're gonna have some bad days. I mean, bad things can happen, but if you're a relentless effort guy, that leads to confidence, and it leads to consistency, and that is just a fact. Intensity leads to focus. It leads to concentration, and aggressiveness leads to physicality, but all those things go back to your effort, and so just that's the basics. So. I've done that for years, and it usually doesn't take much. If you got the right guys, they're not going, because first of all, if they keep showing up, they're not going to get so much opportunity to have a chance to show up. If I have to keep correcting the same guy, then he ain't gonna be out there because he don't deserve it. Sometimes guys just need to get on the same page on what's a loaf and what's not a loaf. And once you kind of educate and you teach and you correct, if you don't get the response, then they don't care. And if they don't care like you need them to care, you're not going to win at the level we're trying to win at. So that's every Monday. And Cleveland Furrow, I'll never forget. I got him one week, and I was so happy that I got him. Because he was a hard guy to get, and I'll never forget. He came to my office. He came to my office after the meeting. And he told me, he said, "You will never, ever have a chance to call me out like that again in front of the team." I said, "Well, I hope not, but I'm going to be looking." And I didn't. Just relentless effort. He wasn't the 4th pick in the draft because he was the 4th best player probably. He was the 4th pick in the draft because of who he was on tape and how hard he played, how physical he played, how relentless he was. To go along with how talented he was. So, it all starts there, man. Like I said, good effort leads to great things. And sometimes it's covering to the ball, playing to the whistle. Barrett Carter, perfect example. He got that interception because he was hustling his butt off to the ball. He didn't have to. Play was kind of over, right? It was kind of a mush right there. And all of a sudden, ball gets tipped. But because he was hustling, he's there to make that pick. And so, yeah, we go through lows, and then we go through extra efforts. We had a lot of those too, a lot of extra efforts. So as I always say, you know, what is great effort, and you know it when you see it, you know it when you don't. What is the eye of the tiger and the heart of a champion? Well, you know it when you see it, you know it when you don't. And so here's what it's not, and here's what it is. And sometimes, you know, for all of us, right, a picture's worth 1,000 words. So we point that out every week, and we always finish on a real high note with extra efforts and what it looks like, and then we move on to the next opponent.
But again, Monday was probably one of those where you pointed out more lows
Oh,
than you
yeah.
had in recent
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. Yep.
Coach Swinney, back here.
So Coach Streeter was talking yesterday about DJ. A lot of times when he's walking the sidelines, he's pointing out his mistakes before even Coach Streeter has been able to get to him first. So to have a starting quarterback that's so willing to, hey, I made this mistake and I know about it. To have a starting quarterback that's so willing to have that conversation and honest, what does that mean?
It's just great leadership. I mean, that's just who he is. I mean, he literally understands the game like a coach. He knows the game. And, you know, he's very self-aware. He's his biggest critic. So, you know, he's very locked in and just love where he is right now from a mental standpoint, a focus standpoint, and just ownership. I mean, the interception, that shouldn't happen. They did trigger, and they brought the backside safety, and he didn't have his eyes where he needed to be post-snap. But that ball should have gone outside. Easy play, easy throw, wide open, easy completion. But Spector also shouldn't have stopped running. You know, but DJ don't want to hear that. DJ put that on himself 100%, and you know, but that's 100% on Spector too. You know, because I don't care if he shouldn't have thrown it. If he stays on the move, then it's just an incompletion. You know, it's just a blow-up incompletion, and you go to the next play. But because he stopped, and no quarterback's thinking that every guy inside slant's ever going to stop, you know, you're always on the move. And because he stopped, and he threw the ball where he should have been, and we just get a hand, oh, maybe I want to catch that, and the ball's tipped, and then you get a pick. But, you know, it's good leadership on DJ's part because, I mean, he took all the blame because, you know, it started with him because he should not have thrown the ball there. But it's also on Spec there. He can't do that to his quarterback. Sometimes the quarterback makes a mistake. Well, if he just keeps coming and does what he needs to do, all right, it's a blow-up catch or it's an incomplete, you know, and you go to the next play. And then the quarterback's going, dang it, I shouldn't have thrown that, and you learn from it. But instead, we get a turnover. But from him, he didn't even want to even talk about that. You know, he knew right when he came off the field. You know, he didn't see the backside safety coming over off the pressure. He thought he had a clean lane, and you know, so he just gets it. I mean, he understands. He knows the game, and but he's always known the game. But he's just in a different place right now from a confidence standpoint, and we're better around him. You know, for sure. We're not anywhere what we need to be, but we are better, and you know, I'm encouraged.
Any questions for Coach from Zoom? Anybody else in the room? All right, thank you, Coach. Those joining us on Zoom, we'll close this room and reopen downstairs with Phil Collins in there. Thank you.
Phil Collins?
I can
feel it Isn't that Phil Collins?
Yeah, Phil Collins.
He said both? I thought he said Phil.
That's Taj's song.